Mic check, mic check. Okay, mic seems to be working. I made a few settings changes, so I hope things work better today. I really don't know if I can dial it down, but I cut the audio stream or I cut the audio settings down quite a bit in quality. Um, and I lowered the video output a little bit, and I just don't know that there's that much more I can cut. And I made some other changes. Hopefully, it'll be a better stream today. Updated a driver. I might not be able to do it for a week or two, but hopefully within the next week, there's some information I need to put up on the Discord because I found some information on YouTube for streamers, and I can see the difference already. I've been putting videos up on YouTube for a while, and they haven't. If I wanted to say watch them to see how it looks after it's on YouTube, I'd have to go search for them. Like if I wasn't on that channel, like if I wanted to watch them from my actual personal YouTube, I'd have to go search for it. The and I've been putting them up there for over a year now. I think not a lot, but here and there. Now I said to go look for them, and what happened was I've been seeing them because every time if you go through the settings when you update or upload them, part of the process you got all the different settings you can put in your tags, you can put in you can tell which playlist. I mean, this is all in there. You can do it later also, but right when you upload it, it gives you can put in your tags, you can put in your description, title of the video, and it's all stuff you can change later, but you can put it all in there before it ever uploads. um and I've done that. And there was always something in there about these end of screen or end of video screen and cards. And so I missed my stream on Tuesday, and I this one might end a little earlier because it's the same thing as last time. Like 10 minutes before the stream, I got to go to the bathroom. It's not an emergency, but if I was in the can right now, I could go. But like last time, I went downstairs and then came back up, and I got so lightheaded a few minutes later. So I'm not trying to do that right now. I'm gonna try and wait and go. I'd like to get a stream out, and when I got done and I felt better, like several hours later, I slept for about 3 4 hours after that, and but I felt better after I woke up. Well, I'm like, well, I upload some stuff and get it on YouTube, and I actually looked up how to do it. Well, and I don't know which one of them is, or if it's both of them, but I put cards on all my new videos that I was like, putting on that night, and I put the end of screen links. So it basically says, "Hey, here's other stuff you should check out right at the." And they are showing up in my main YouTube, my personal one, like what I normally watch. They are showing up in my recommended videos. And I don't know if that's going to translate to other people seeing them or not, but that's something that's never happened before. I've always had to go looking for, and I think pretty much every one of them did. So I gotta put that up there on the Discord for the other people that stream because I'm recommending to them. Twitch only keeps your streams for so many days. Even if you're a Prime member, they only keep them for so many days. And so I recommend, if you got anything you're proud of, put it on a YouTube account because it'll stay there a lot. Okay, let's go ahead and get this thing started. The song I'll be singing tonight, horribly, is Clean Bandit Symphony, and I think a lot of the time I'm going to be taking lesser known songs or older songs, like the what do they call it, the soundtrack of my life. I always thought that was a weird saying, but I really like a lot of their music. Uh, so I'm going to just do that one, and it's kind of a joke because when I first started playing on this server, there were people you ran into a fair amount, and I'm hoping that'll change like when school gets out. But some of them are in school, and you almost never see them anymore. Between the pandemic and their bullshit, they're not on that much. And somebody commented on a couple of my YouTube videos, and I responded, because I don't get a lot of comments. So I'm seriously gonna try and answer every one of them, or at least read them. If they start getting right now, that's not a danger. I can respond to every. Well, it turns out it's a guy I used to play with when I had a realm, and so I chatted with him a little bit, and he's not able to play right now because I had sent him messages on Xbox, and just wasn't getting a response. Well, he just wasn't on Xbox. He contacted me on Facebook or Twitter or something like that. Well, it was him. It's just I didn't recognize his screen name on YouTube, and so I responded back to him when he told me who it was, and but he reached out to me on social media a couple weeks ago, and he had never seen those messages because he wasn't getting on Xbox, and he said he doesn't have PlayStation Plus anymore, so he can't really get on and play because he's and I mentioned to him, I go, well, I'm on a server. I go, you can get on it with your phone. I go, yeah. I can't guarantee you're going to get in, but there is an application process, and you'd be more than welcome if they accept you, because he basically plays about the same way I do. He doesn't shit on other people. Pretty good guy to play with, but he can't do it. And then there's a couple of his friends that were on my realm, and I played on their worlds too. And then one of his friends actually started a realm after I got rid of mine because I got tired of paying for it. Bad as it fucked up. And I jumped on one of their worlds for a minute, and it was nice to see him again. But it'd be nice to get some people that actually are actively playing. Guy Biker, the other guy that streams, he's got the same thing. It's like we've got all these people. If they showed up once in a while, it'd be great. Hayden's actually on the server right now. I don't know if he's going to join the stream or not, like he did one other time when we were digging, but he's actually on the server. Um, so I don't know. But that's what I got kind of thinking about. This is what inspired this song. And I don't want a pity party. It's just, I'm not suffering from depression or anything. The symphony, it's more fun on Minecraft when you've got a group of people. And you don't have to worry about them griefing or screwing up your shit. And we had a symphony when I first joined this one. There was a symphony, and now a lot of times when you get on, there's silence. It's part of the song. So here we go. Hearing symphonies. Before all I heard was silence, a rhapsody for you and me. And every melody is timeless. Life was stringing me along. Then you came and you cut me loose. Solo singing on my own. Now I can't find a key without you. And now your song is on repeat. And I'm dancing on to your heartbeat. And when you're gone, I feel complete. So if you want the truth, I just wanna be part of your city. I can't do the high notes. I apologize. You hold me tight and not let go. Symphony, like a love song on the radio. You hold me tight and not let go. Sorry if it's all too much. Every day you're here, I'm healing. I was running out of love. I never thought I'd find this feeling. I've been hearing symphonies. Before all I heard was silence. A rhapsody for you and me. Every melody is timeless. And now your song is on repeat. And I'm dancing on to your heartbeat. And when you're gone, I feel incomplete. If you want the truth, I just wanna be part of your system. This is just the wrong octave or whatever you want to call it for me. Okay, let's see if the stream is working. It'll take a minute to make sure the picture. Part of the thing that I think is helping me with the CPU usage is I'm not actually running a video image on Streamlabs, so it's not taxing the. Okay, it's working. The CPU doesn't have to render an image for the Streamlabs or Stream Elements like it did for Slobs, and I could have shut that off, but this by default has it turned off. It's not rendering an image for the streaming software, so it can free that up for other stuff. And now we're getting the gaps. Okay, I had this off because last time I was on, it kind of drowned it out well, actually, it's probably a mercy for anybody listening, but it drowned it out the singing. I'll turn the actual sound back. Basically, this is my sorting system. And these first three, and I don't know, I might make an update to this. I might see if I can sort out potions and books. Don't know that I can. Gotta look. But these three here sort out unstackable items. And it basically travels this way. But when it gets to these, anything that isn't stackable is supposed to come through. Or actually, no, it goes this way. But it's supposed to sort out the unstackable items. And this one here grabs buckets. And everything goes the rest of the way into these sorting. I just put some new chests down. I gotta get some more wood, and I gotta make hoppers. I gotta get more chests first. But I added a little bit more while I was off stream. I'll get that later. I think I might have dug a little bit more since the last stream. I think I did it right after I did that 20-minute update where I was showing the progress. I've got this pretty well dug out. I got to keep slabbing it. But the other thing is, the slime chunks, and on this sorting, that's why I was adding new chests to it. But I don't have the hoppers, so it's not active storage; it's just future storage. But my slime chunk or my slime balls and my and this has been the way for a while. My slime balls just started backing up, and my zombie meat has been doing it for a while, where it ends up in the unsorted items at the end because it's full. And I'm going to go ahead and put this on pause, and I really do have to go to the bathroom. Hopefully I won't get lightheaded. I will be back upstairs as quick as I can. Don't get old if you have a choice. It's not fun. I will be back as quickly as I can, and if for some reason I'm not back in 10 minutes, it means I either fell on the stairs or I really was not able to come back up, and I apologize. I'm not back in like 5 minutes, maybe 8 minutes. It's probably just not going to happen, and I apologize for that. Hey, I made it back. Okay, my bad. If I'm gonna go back over there, I need to do there are certain things that I have to do. It's main. I gotta periodically empty out the drops there. Creeper farms.
Stark Hayden 21 says don't mind this next message.
Okay. I'm kind of curious.
Stark Hayden 21 says minus 36,105,110.
Okay, I'm kind of gonna do my take on this. It isn't like I even watched the View today to see if they would
Lonely
talk
Biker
about
joined
it.
the game.
Hey, Biker's here. How you doing, buddy?
Stark Hayden 21 says hey Biker.
There's a little bit of a view of
Lonely Biker says hey Hayden. From Weiss.
yeah, that gave you a little bit of view of what I'm working on. Yeah, the books that I get in the raid farm, a lot of them are just junk.
Lonely Biker says
This one
hey
I'm going to
KC.
keep because it's got mending on it. It's got import and for. But the rest is, and that's what I do every time I try to come over, and I forget a lot of the time, but every time I remember, I take the ones that I'm probably never going to use, and I don't think they're good to offer as and I'll just come over here and turn them into usable books. Oh, shit. I triggered a raid. I do this. Well, I might get the joy of redoing all my villagers. Yeah, I never had this before. I haven't triggered one since I added. They can probably actually spawn up there. Yeah, that's my fault. Oh, here we go. The best way for me to handle it is to vote one of them, and I apologize. You're gonna have to listen to the horn going off, but I normally what I do is I actually go up and get the bad omen to come off while I'm still at the raid farm, and I just came up the stairs. That's what happened, and it's like this one here. I don't even hear it when it first goes off. It's like later when I notice it. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and cancel the game noises until that's over. I don't know exactly when it happened. I just found out about it yesterday, like yesterday. And I'm just gonna and this is something like, and I don't mind debating opinions. And there's some of what I'm going to tell you is fact, and then the rest of it's all opinion. I just I'm getting to the point in my life where I just can't debate people on facts. Um, we're gonna have a party. Uh, but I just found out about this. Gina Carano has been playing a character, and I can't get it. I can't. I don't have the money to spend on. If I had the money, I would definitely be getting Disney Plus, just so I can watch the Disney Marvel and Star Wars shows. I absolutely would. The Mandalorian looks good. I'm really interested in WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I can't do them. If that ever changes, I'll definitely hop on in a heartbeat. And that is absolutely a joke. Got to go ahead and sleep. But they got this actress, and the girl who played Starbuck on Battlestar Galactica, she's got a part on there. The girl who played Melinda May, the cavalry on Agents of Shield, she's got a part on there now. I mean, there's many good reasons why I would like to watch that show. Well, one of them is an actress called Gina Carano, and if you watch the original Deadpool, in my opinion, she was the extremely attractive and athletic and kind of thick girl that played the sidekick for Francis. And I've been a fan of hers since before she was an MMA fighter, back when she was just a Muay Thai fighter. Yeah, I still haven't gotten that stuff turned on yet. I should just turn back CloudBot until I get the other one. None of that stuff is working. I don't think it should be, as far as I can tell, but it isn't. I think what I have to do to get Stream Elements working is I got to go ahead and make a what do they? I think it's a PayPal account. I don't have one. I need to go. None of that stuff is working. The timers, they should be. I've set them up, but I think until I finish the things on Stream Elements, and unless I just activate the CloudBot, but I kind of want to move over to that. But I've been a fan of Gina Carano's back since she was a Muay Thai practitioner. There was a movie, and then they did a TV show. I think the TV show is on Oxygen. I don't know where they did the movie, but it was called Fight Girls, and it was a reality show. I got to be honest with you, it might be the inspiration for the UFC's TV show that they did, where they were all living in that house, and then they would, have their fight every week, and they'd eliminate half the people, and then and then they had those half people do like an elimination round competition, and the winner got like a six fight contract with the UFC. Well, what they did was, in the movie, he took three girls, and the guy's name was Master Toddy. He's from Thailand, and my understanding is, and if you don't, I don't expect a lot of people to know this, but if you follow Muay Thai, and I don't follow it as much as a lot of people, but if you know Muay Thai as much as I do, there is a guy who is pretty much recognized for bringing Muay Thai to the United States. It's the oh God, it's a national organization for the U.S. It's Muay Thai. It's in all 50 states, just about. And but that was Master Chai. And my understanding is, I didn't know this until recently, like a few years ago. Master Chai, I think, is related to some of those in the royal family. And because I was telling somebody a story, because a whole bunch of his students had signed, I'd heard this through the grapevine there, I wasn't there, but a whole bunch of his students had signed a birthday card or something for his mom. And he was telling us about it, and he said he was going to show it to the king. He was so happy about that. And I was telling it to somebody, they knew more about this than I do. They go, I think he's actually related to the king. It's like a family member. And I'm like, that I didn't know. Well, Master Toddy is out of Vegas. And my understanding is, just like Master Chai kind of brought Muay Thai to the United States, Master Toddy is the one that brought it to parts of Europe. And I was like, we're talking like a couple weeks. I wasn't really there for that. I went there for some of the weapons training, and the guy they had running it was a fucking idiot. So I let him know. I go, hey, you can keep the money I paid you. I'm not training with that guy. And they go, well, come for the Muay Thai. Come for the MMA. And I'm like, yeah, that's just not my thing. It's not. But I trained for a couple weeks, and I just got, and it was kicking my ass. I was out of shape. I'll admit it. But I'm just like, I'm not driving that far to do Muay Thai. I'm not. It's just not my. And but he trained these three girls, and he took them over to Thailand and actually fought in Thailand. And that was the movie. Well, then when he did the TV show, he brought back two of the girls. This may change. I just need to see how it looks right now. And if it is, I'm going to basically have to build it as I can buy the quartz. But one of the girls that he had brought back to help train people uh, for the TV show is Gina Carano. She was one of the original three girls that went over to Thailand. And then she got into MMA. And then after she got beat up by this steroid induced monster from Brazil, South America, she got into acting. And I got to be honest with you, no matter what, I'm probably always going to be a fan of hers. If she ends up in something and I think it's going to be entertaining to watch, I will probably watch it. I don't think that's going to happen. It was kind of the same thing with Clint Eastwood. A number of years ago, he was invited to speak at the Republican National Convention, and he either came off like an asshole or a senile old man. That's an opinion. You're welcome to it, but he basically just said some really ugly fucking things. And whoever brought him to do it, whoever okayed it, whoever thought it up, I think they thought it was going to be a better idea than what it really was. And I can't really fault them for that, because there's a lot of times I say stuff that, just sounded a hell of a lot better in my head than it was received when it. And there were a lot of people calling for a boycott or whatever. And I got to be honest with you. I think what he said was ignorant. I think what he said was hurtful and hateful. I thought it was bad for America. I don't see it as anything that's really helping. And but if Clint Eastwood makes a movie and it looks like it's going to be good, I'm going to watch it. I really am. But again, also back then, the Republican Party wasn't causing like armed takeovers of the Capitol either, so people might feel differently. But she has been controversial probably for the last year. And from what the reporting is, she has been warned since November that, hey, look, if you want to work here, you got to dial down the bullshit on social media. And this is a thing that people got to be grown-ups about. They got to understand that when you've got a company that has someone who is a major player in the show, and they're making millions and millions of dollars, and they've got millions, if not billions, invested. I don't know if you're on the stream, Kate or Hayden, but I'm working on my Ziggurat. I just want to see how this looks, to be honest. And but she's been putting stuff up since November. She's been putting up stuff since November. She's an anti-vaxxer, and she's been posting on stream that, online since November, that we don't need to be wearing masks, the whole coronavirus thing. So she's basically not the smartest person in the room. She's always been an athlete. She's done modeling, she's done acting, and I'm okay with that. They didn't hire her because of her expertise on the coronavirus. They hired her they kind of warned her about that. Well, then the next thing that she's been doing for the last couple months is, and she's been basically spreading the conspiracy theories that the election was stolen from Trump, and that's another thing. But they didn't fire her for any of this. And what she recently did was, she basically said that being a Republican today was kind of like being a Jew in the concentration camps. And just on the face of it, um, that is pretty stupid, to say. That is something that you just really can't make excuses for it, and that caused them to fire her. and she's no longer with us. So if you didn't know that, well, one, if it really upset you, I'm sorry. That's the facts of it. And I suppose you can have an opinion that she shouldn't have been fired, but I started looking into it last night because I didn't know if it was even true. I saw it on I started seeing videos of it on TikTok, so I tried to investigate it a little bit, and but that's the fact of it, and I think it's a fair thing to say that factually you have to understand why Disney did it, because my understanding from what I looked up last night, every time she went on one of these stupid tours on social media, just saying some of the dumbest fucking shit, it would be followed by a bunch of people unsubscribing from Disney Plus or the Disney package where you get Disney Hulu and ESPN. And they noticed a direct, definite cause and effect. She would go out and say some of the dumbest fucking shit imaginable, and people would quit spending their money there. And so they just finally got to the point where they're like, well, she doesn't seem to be getting the hint. And you've got these people that are acting like it's cancel culture. Well, no, she has the freedom of speech to not be silenced by the government, but that does not immunize her from the accountability. Uh, the speech, that doesn't give her speech without consequences. And so she was pretty much let go. And there's some channels that I actually like. They give a lot of good information on. They give a lot of good information on Star Wars, Marvel. Midnight Edge is one of them, and Doomcock is another one. They're YouTube channels, and they do other stuff too, but they spend a lot of time talking about uh, Marvel, Disney, Star Wars, like stuff that's going on with like uh, leaks of what's coming out, that kind of thing, and as well as behind the scenes stuff like the rumors. There was Doomcock was one of the better ones. They were giving insider information that was leaking out about firing Kathleen Kennedy, or at least taking away her creative control over Star Wars before she tanked it. And I saw a stream where it was live. It was on this morning, and I saw them talking about the Gina Carano thing, and I'm like, oh well, cool. I'll get some good information. And oh my God, it was just an angry rant about them firing her and how wrong it is. I might replace this with a quartz slab. But it was just going off, and they're like, I mean, and literally, this is what was going on, and I'm like, and I'll like I said, if they've got videos where they put out videos with like useful information, I'll definitely watch it. But they were going off because there were basically people on there basically telling them the truth. Like, look, she said some horrible shit. Forget whatever verbiage they use. She said some horrible shit, and she got held accountable for it. And these guys are like, if you want to say that shit, go somewhere else. If Twitter can fucking silence people, so can I. I'll kick you right. I'm just like, you know what? If he's going to be acting like a 3-year-old, I'm just going to go watch something else. And I honestly felt that. If he's going to act like that, I'll just go watch something else. It's not that. And because again, that's a factual thing. There's stuff she said that's just flat out stupid. She was basically saying that we didn't need to wear masks and the coronavirus thing wasn't real. That's fucking stupid. That's factual. There's just no way to get around it. And, you know, I mean, there just literally is no way to get around that shit. And same thing with the election. You know, it's like, yes, was there fraud in the election? There always is. Was it enough to steal the election? No. It absolutely was not enough to steal the election. And so to go out there and ignorantly state that the election was stolen, that's wrong. That's stupid. That's factually provable. And but again, she wasn't fired. And that was another thing that was being like, because I watched a lot of shit on Twitter. I was scrolling through it, and there were people that were pointing out, like, look, they didn't fire her for her first tweet. They they fired her after several months, and again, they could actually show cause and effect. She would go out and spread these fucking lies. I'm sure she believed they were true. Again, not smart. You don't have to have an IQ to fucking do a bench press. You don't have to have an IQ to fucking hit heavy bag. You don't. And it's always been that way. This is not some new development. But I am still going to be a fan of hers. But like one of the things that was, and this is what people were doing, they were putting up, and this was the funniest part of it. Well, not funny, more like a tragedy. But they were actually putting up the stuff that she had tweeted, stuff that has since been deleted. If she had any illusion about it being wrong, she wouldn't have deleted it. She'd have left it up there. But when it was pointed out, it seemed to seep through the fucking, the steroid residue in her brain that, yeah, maybe this was fucked up. So she ended up deleting it. Because I got to be honest with you, if I put something up that I knew to be true and it offended a lot of people, and I've been there, I'm going to leave it up. I'm not going to take it down because people are going to look at it, they're going to judge it, and if you know it's factual, like because I've done this before, where I put stuff up and it pissed off a lot of people on the right, and I'm like, hey, look, the stuff that I just said there that you're crying about, these are facts. And I told him, I go, anybody out there, I go, don't believe me, please don't believe me. Go up and look it up. Like when you tell them that the last Republican president that balanced a budget was Eisenhower, that pisses them off. They're like, you're full of shit. Go look it up. Or when you comment that, well, yeah, raising the minimum wage every time they've raised the minimum wage, it's acted like steroids for the fucking economy. Well, hey, go look it up. Go find one time where they raised the minimum wage where it didn't help the economy. Go find it. And you can sit there and wait because they're not going to be, it never happened. These are facts. They're not going to be able to find anything legitimate that's going to disqualify it. And, but she deleted this stuff because at some point she realized, oh, this looks like shit. Again, they didn't hire her because she was a vaccine professor. They didn't hire her because she was an expert on infectious disease. They didn't hire her because she was an election expert. They hired her because she looks good, she's got big boobs, and she can do action scenes. That's why they hired her. And so she deleted it. Well, they were putting up, it was something where she basically said, the Nazis didn't kill the Jews. It was the neighbors. It was the ordinary people in Germany. And they were like, well, what's wrong with this? This is historical fact. No, it isn't. Now, granted, the population as a whole stood by and watched. They did. And yes, there were mobs that beat up the Jews. And this is the part that was, and they're like, what's wrong with this? What's wrong with this? And they are basically trying to equate the people that are holding Gina Carano accountable with the Nazis. And I'm sitting there and I didn't even comment. I just let it go because I was tired. I needed sleep. And, but the part that got me was when you look at it, if you are going to equate the brown shirts in England, I think, and in Italy, they were black shirts. But the Nazi brown shirts that went around, this is before the Nazis came into power, it would go around and intimidate people and beat people up. If you are going to, and again, I'm not saying that they're the same, but if you are going to find a correlation between Nazi Germany and modern day America, it's going to be the people on the right. These militia groups, the people with torches that were marching down in Charlotte, I don't know if it was North Carolina or Alabama, but that Charlotte march where they were running with torches saying Jews will not replace us. Those were Trump supporters. Those were people on the right. That's the connection, not Black Lives Matter, not the other. I mean, that's the connection. The ones that were running around intimidating people to get their way, that was the militia groups. That was the militia groups, not the people on the left. The people trying to overturn a lawfully elected, well, you can't even blame that on Nazis. That's a completely different thing because, when Hitler came into power, he actually won them at popular. That's something that George Bush Jr. and Trump can't claim to have achieved. Hitler came into power, they overwhelmingly voted for him, but most of the killing, like, the 6 million Jews that they keep talking about, because and this is the real irony of it. If you look at some of those people that were marching on Washington, there were some of them that were wearing shirts, and it was 6MWNE or something like that. It literally stands for 6 million was not enough. It was a reference to killing Nazis or Nazis killing Germans. I mean, this was the Trump supporters. These were the people. There was another one, and it might have been the same shirt, but they basically said "work guarantees freedom" or something like that. That was the camp slogan for Auschwitz, I think. And so for them to actually act like Twitter and Black Lives Matter are Nazis is just fucking ignorant. And I'm looking at these things where they're posting what she said and asking what's wrong with it. And the only thing I could think of was like, if you're so stupid that you have to have it explained to you, you're probably too stupid to understand it. All I can do is explain facts to people. I can't understand them. I just literally can't. And but I do feel bad because I like watching her. I am a fan. I will probably always be a fan. If she can get involved in, but my understanding is her talent agency dumped her. She's been fired. She probably just put a torch to her fucking career, and I think it's sad. Absolutely think it's sad. But if you are looking at the situation and you can't understand why it happened, I honestly think you're either stupid or delusional, one or the other. Maybe she'll join Ronda Rousey in WWE, but I don't even know if the WWE would want to touch her after. Really don't. But, the only thing I can think of is when this talk was going on in World War II, uh, if they had put a stop to it, if the businesses, but they didn't have social media and all that. But if those people had been, like if those people when they started speaking out against freedom and democracy and talking about taking over the German country, if those people would have been fired, if they would have had their life impacted, if they wouldn't have let that stuff go on, World War II might have looked a lot different. There might be a lot more. And if we had done it earlier, like if we had permanently banned, like, well, not even we, Twitter, but if Twitter had permanently banned Trump after he made those horrible. But if Twitter had kicked him permanently off the platform back when he was speaking, horribly about Rosie O'Donnell, calling her a fat pig and all this other shit. I mean, and Rosie was fat. I'm not trying to, but I mean, if they'd have done that, who knows? Maybe the kids wouldn't have been put in cages. Um, maybe all the people that are dead from the coronavirus, maybe those numbers would be a lot different because we wouldn't have had a President Trump. You know, if you go back to when George Bush Jr. was running against McCain, if they would have, you know, basically said, yeah, that type of speech, you know, you got a right to free speech, but you don't have a right to stupid speech. And if they would have went back and with George Bush, if they had told him, yeah, you can't run ads accusing a decorated Vietnam vet of the shit you're doing, because that Max Cleland, this is a guy that lost 2 legs and an arm in Vietnam. And the Republican Party made him look like a socialist crack dealer. They ran ads against John McCain, another veteran. I don't know if he's decorated, but this is a guy, you know, he was tortured. He was in a prisoner of war camp. They basically ran ads, and it's what they call, I think, push ads. The ad is not there to advertise the truth. The ad is there to lie and mislead and drive people to a wrong conclusion. But they ran these ads, and they didn't say that John McCain had cheated on his wife. They ran these ads asking you, well, how would you feel if John McCain, and you think about the Republican Party. I'm not saying that everybody in the Republican Party is a racist, but if you're a racist, the Republican Party is probably your party. And that's not completely true. There are no absolutes usually, but I mean, more than likely, it's more or less true. But they ran these ads going, well, if John McCain had a colored baby out by cheating on his wife, how would you feel about it? Well, him and his wife had adopted a kid from another country because they're incredibly decent people, and they use that. Well, you know, hey, if the government would have stepped in and said, yeah, you can't do that. You can't lie about your opponent. McCain might have been the one running. And I don't know if he would have won, but because I don't think McCain would have tried to get his brother in Florida to help him steal the election. But McCain would have been on the ticket, not George Bush. And I think it's high time that we understand that, yes, we have a right to free speech, but we don't have a right to stupid speech. Because the cost, the way we're paying for it is just too great of a cost, in my opinion. Looking back at the last, 20 years or so. I'm an older person, and this is the thing that, and some of it, like I just watched this video. It was a Karen getting arrested. She was at a grocery store, and it's all part of the same symptom of what I'm talking about. I'm trying to keep a common theme, stupidity. And but you've got these people, they're acting like Gina Carano being fired for speaking her opinion, speaking stupidly, is somehow a violation of her First Amendment rights. Well, no, she has a right because the government isn't the one that shut her down. And there are these people that are running around, they don't want to wear masks. They're probably anti vaxxers as well. And they think that they've got some kind of constitutional guarantee to go around and infect everybody. And she refused. She wouldn't wear a mask, and she refused to leave the store. So she ended up getting arrested. And they were just going to ticket her and send her home, but she wouldn't tell them who they were. So she ended up getting arrested, and she's like flipping the fuck out. And again, these people get on social media, they listen to this nonsense, and they've got people telling them, "Oh, well, you can just claim a medical exemption." And they can't ask you about it. Well, you can claim the medical exemption, and see, nobody's going to force you to wear that mask. But if you refuse to wear it, that store has an absolute right to tell you to GTFO, get the fuck out. And and this is another thing, again, facts. I've looked into this because I watch a lot of these videos with these anti-government nuts, and they're big proponents of this. And I actually looked it up because, you never know, there might be something to it. But the facts of it are, for you to not be wearing a mask, physically, you would have to have like third degree burns or second degree. You'd have to have severe burns to your face or some kind of a rash. And they said that, for you to have something wrong with the skin on your face to the point where you couldn't wear a mask, you more than likely wouldn't be able to be out in public anyways. You'd be hospitalized. That if your condition was good enough that you were able to walk around in public, then it was probably good enough that you'd be able to wear a mask. And then you got the claims, oh well, it's trapping carbon dioxide, and so you can't breathe. Well, guess what? They've done the studies where they measure the oxygen in your blood, um, and there's literally no drop in it. You're getting the same amount of oxygen in your blood, so that's a lie, and it's been physically proven because they can monitor the oxygen in your blood. And then the other one that's come out is, oh well, asthma, COPD, whatever. And the way that was explained to me, and again, I'm getting this off of medical websites, not YouTube Law or YouTube Medical. And you can still breathe in cases like that. Yeah, you might not be comfortable, but you can do it. You're in no physical harm from it. And they said that if you do have some kind of a respiratory condition, and there are legitimate reasons why that mask might be a problem, but if you have that, then you probably shouldn't be out, because though that same condition that would make it impossible or hard for you to wear the mask would also make you more likely to have the virus come in and latch onto your respiratory system, therefore infecting you. So even if you aren't able to wear the mask, you shouldn't be there. You really shouldn't be there. And then the other thing that they said is that there are mental health reasons why you can't. And most of these auditors I watch, if they're not able to wear the mask, if it's a legitimate reason, which I don't think it is, but if it is a legitimate reason, um, you probably have it because of a mental condition. But they don't understand that that does not mean that they have to serve you. It doesn't mean that it's represented by the Americans with Disability Act, because it's not a disability that's recognized under that law. They still have a right to tell you to leave, and that becomes your problem, not theirs. And I don't know. There's just so much bullshit going. And the worst part is all these people that are bitching because we can't send our kids back to school, we can't open up the businesses. If they would just listen to the smart people and do what they're told, we could get this virus under control. And then we could open up. But the same people that are running around with sore vaginas bitching and moaning about wearing a fucking mask, it's like, if you guys would get off the fucking stupid train, we literally probably could open up at least something approaching normal. I don't know. The same people that are bitching because we have to wear masks and we have to do this and we have to do that, if they weren't fucking around, we'd probably be in much better shape. I honestly think the stream is the tweaks that I made must be working. Uh, I'm rapidly approaching the point where I have to put this on pause and work on something else. because I don't plan stuff out ahead of time for builds, and I'm rapidly approaching the point where I have to wait until I get inspired on what else I'm gonna do, because some of the walls and like some of the stuff up here, I'm not entirely sure, but I feel safe doing this as long as I got the blocks for it, because I'm gonna put some stuff up here, and I haven't decided if I'm gonna do something like an aqueduct. Because like the thoughts that I have right now is I was thinking about doing an aqueduct, but what I want to use it for I don't think would work, and I want to definitely put some statues up here. That's a potential. I got to find some good ones and hope I can actually build, because more than likely I'm going to have to find something I like and then try to figure out how to build it without a tutorial. But I might do that. The floor here, I'm just going to make this solid sandstone on the four corners. But the other thing I might do is I might put decoration here, get some colored slabs maybe, and decorate it. Not entirely sure, but I just want to get this built for right. And then I change the color palette around. Like I said, the ring around this might, like, I've got quartz here. I might make this outside ring quartz, and maybe I'll use quartz to put the logos or the runes or whatever it is. I just don't know yet. And right now I've got a fence going around the perimeter, and uh, but the some of the stuff that was going on about Carano, and this was probably the most insightful thing. Somebody tweeted, they go, "Didn't anybody think to tell her to Google Roseanne Barr?" And and I'm thinking, yeah, that might have been some good advice to explain to her, hey, this is what's likely going to happen to your career if you don't knock off the fucking crazy shit. Like I don't, I just, I feel bad about the whole thing, but it's like, Helen Keller could have seen this coming. And, this happened after that Tiki Torch March. There were people that were down there and they basically got fired. When it was learned that they were a party to that, they got fired. Uh, and you can cry and moan and everything else you want about it, but it's, again, it's just not a shock to people that are paying attention. And oh god, I was watching The View, and they did not talk about the Gina Carano thing. I thought maybe they would, maybe they'll have it later in the week, but they were talking mostly about the impeachment of Trump. And what got me was Karen McCain. I'm calling her Karen. If I do tweet about her, I use the hashtag Karen McCain, and that was something I tweeted yesterday, because there was basically a guy who said that this is not the cancel culture. This is adult accountability for your actions. And I just made the comment. I go, Karen McCain on The View is forever saying stupid shit like, maybe there will finally be some adult accountability for the shit that she says. She literally tweeted, uh, she literally tweeted last year that, outside her apartment in New York, there was, it was like a war zone. I can't remember exactly. I think she said it was like a third world dictatorship or something like that. She's basically talking about how horrible it is. And there's a girl that is like a writer for, I think, Samantha Bee's show, Full Frontal or whatever. And she responded to the tweet. She goes, Megan, she goes, I live in your building. I just literally went outside. It's not that bad. Well, and then it came out that McCain wasn't even there. She was in another fucking state. So she literally lied and made that up. Well, that could have incited things. Stupidity. That could have incited things. And, and I kind of mentioned on their page, View's page, it's like, I think it's Brian Williams. I mean, he misspoke about something that had happened 20 years ago. There was something he was involved in, and he's like, well, yeah, I was under fire, and they actually went back and looked at it. And it's like, uh, yeah, that wasn't what was going on. It was not that bad. You were not under fire. And this is something that had happened like 10, 15, 20 years ago. And he was at least there, you know? And I kind of asked him the question. I go, how come she isn't fired? She's literally using the platform you give her because she wouldn't be anybody if she didn't have that show. She would not have. She's got a platform because they give her a show. It's Barbara Walters' flagship. And I'm like, when is there going to be some accountability? I go, she's actually causing problems for law enforcement and the government of New York City and New York State because she's literally making shit up on Twitter. And it's going out. I mean, like, if I made shit up, if I basically said, oh my God, I'm in the Midwest and it's like a fucking war zone, or did you ever see, Red Dawn? I mean, we got Soviet. I would have like maybe two people that would see it. It's just not that big of a deal. It's just not that big of a deal for law enforcement. And, to this day, I don't know if she's got photos of the producer sleeping with Satan or what, but apparently there's some reason why there's no accountability there, but maybe it'll come out. Maybe they'll finally start to crack down on this shit because this stupidity that's going on. And then there's a quote that I always like to think about when this is going. If you saw the movie, I think it was called I, Robot, had Will Smith in it. Um, they referenced it in Babylon 5. When Garibaldi found out from Bester that he had been washed by the Psi Corps, he tried to kill Bester, and Bester's like, "Oh, I gave you an Asimov." And Asimov was a sci-fi writer. He's, I think, by some considered one of the Godfathers. If I'm not mistaken, he wrote, might be wrong, but I think he wrote the Foundation books, and he wrote the I, Robot books. I think there was more. I haven't really read them. I did read the Foundation, but I think Asimov did. And he wrote these books about robots. And he basically said that for humans to be safe when robots became intelligent, they had to put these like three rules that uh, you can't harm humans, you can't through inaction allow humans to be harmed, and there was a third one, and it was basically these three key rules. They were like the first things that were locked into the robot's intellect, basically because if they didn't, if they didn't put those in there, at a certain point, the robots would come to the conclusion that the best way to protect humanity would be to kill humanity because it would be basically protecting us from itself. Um, if robots did not have that kind of program, um, if robots were basically to react and to do good things, at a certain point when they saw kids being put in cages by the Trump administration, they'd probably go in and blow his head off to protect the kids. They would see it as evil. They would see it as not very good behavior, not behavior worthy of to continue. So they had to have this shit in there. And I think we're on. Oh yeah, Asimov's quote. But Asimov, a number of years ago, this is nothing recent, but he basically said that there is a strain of intellectual or anti-intellectualism in the United States, and he goes, and it's always been here. This viewpoint that my ignorance is just as good as your facts. And so, like, when I see this shit, I always am reminded of that quote because this is something that he saw back in like the 50s or the 60s, 70 years ago, 70, 30 years ago, where 70, 60, 70 years ago, where he realized that, yeah, there's a fucking problem here. And that's what's going on now, where you've got these people that throw this shit up. They act like it's some kind of a defense for bad behavior, and it's like, yeah, it really isn't. I just kind of want things to go back to normal. But when I was a kid, you had people that weren't smart, but they knew they weren't smart, usually because they got held back in school. And, now you've got these people that are running around because, oh, they found out that, when we hold these people back, it makes them depressed and then they get suicidal. Well, yeah, but they're also not clogging up society. We're not dealing with it. And I think we need to start going back to doing that where if, because I'm not kidding you. I worked at General Motors, and there was a woman we worked with. She's a grown ass person. She can vote. She's allowed to roam freely without a monitor. And she literally said that vaccines did not kill polio, that we call it the flu now. And somewhere along the lines, somebody must have realized that she was probably too stupid to graduate. It probably started at an early age. And she but they probably, it's like, oh well, she's pretty weak-minded, she's not really a smart person, she's not really an emotionally stable person, would be my guess. The way she fucking cyber stalked me on Facebook after I commented about her stupidity. um she was basically trying to get me to apologize for calling her, and I really didn't call her stupid. I inferred it, and I didn't use any names. And that was the first thing I told her. I go, look, I never called you stupid. I go, at best, I implied it. I go, I didn't use any names. So I go, if you feel that I called you stupid, I go, you have more of a problem with the person in the mirror than that's on you. Yeah, I didn't say you. We'll just give her a name. We'll call her some dumb bitch. That's her Chinese street name. And I didn't call you stupid. All I said was some people are too stupid to argue with. She instantly seemed to know that I was talking about her. Well, then that's on you. That's not on me. And and she kept trying to get me to apologize, and I'm like, look, you said polio was the flu, and she's like, well, I don't want to talk about that. You called me stupid. I go, yeah, because you said polio was the, and I got to the point, I mean, because she was literally, my Facebook feed kept blowing up because literally like every 2 minutes, and part of the time I wasn't even by the computer. I'd go, I was doing laundry, getting something to eat, whatever. And I'd come back and I'd see that she'd blown me up in chat using my, she was tagging me in it. So it was blowing up my notification thing. And finally, I just started copying and pasting. I didn't even, I just copied it once and then pasted it. But she'd be like, you called me stupid. And I would just paste her comment in, and you could clearly see that it was her. I had her screen name and everything else in there. And I'm like, yeah, you said this. And I just pasted it every time. After a while, and she's like, I don't want to talk about that. I go, well, then you don't want to talk about being stupid. I go, and I told her, I go, they're linked. I go, I'm not going to talk to you about me calling you stupid without pointing the fact out that you are fucking stupid. There's just no way to get around it. If you have a problem with being called stupid, then you have to meet me halfway and actually quit being stupid. And I finally started just talking to everybody. I go, look, I'm about ready to block her because I go, I don't want to sit here and talk with someone who is stupid, who doesn't want to own up to it. And but I started talking to everybody else, and I go, you know what? The funny thing is, I go, I'm assuming she graduated, and if somebody knows she has a GED, let me know. But I go, she uh, she got a diploma. She graduated somewhere. And I go, it's really offensive to me that somebody this fucking stupid has a diploma from a high school. And because of the full faith and credit of the United States, the Constitution, it is somehow equal and equivalent to the diploma that I got from my high school. Um, and I don't get it. I just don't really know how to address it. But you know, it used to be these people being stupid didn't affect you and me. But you know, for the last since about 2000, so like 20 years now, these people are allowed to vote. They're they're allowed to run free. And you know, like those kids that were in cages, the people that died from the coronavirus, uh, the people that lost their jobs, the businesses that went out of business, abortion doctors that have been murdered by fucking religious nuts. Um, these are all people that had to pay the ultimate price for that stupidity being lost. I mean, I watch these things with anti-government nuts, and you know, I watch them. I don't honestly don't know if I should make path higher for this. I might change this, but I'm gonna let this sit for see how I like it. And if I find out if I like it, I'll do the rest of them. Uh, but I watch these anti-government nuts, and these guys go into court and they try to argue. And I don't have a lot of experience with court. That's part of the fascination for this because you actually learn stuff from watching it. But these guys go in there and somebody, and it doesn't work. But these guys go into court and basically you can watch My Cousin Vinny. This is a movie from back in, I don't think it was 90s. I think it was the 80s. He goes in there and he's trying to argue with the judge that his clients are innocent during the arraignment. And it's the guy who played, now if you're younger, you probably don't know who I'm talking about. It's the guy who played Herman Munster in the Munster Family. He was the judge, same actor. And he's explaining to the lawyer, see, he hasn't really tried a case. He just got out of, Joe Pesci, he got out of law school. It's his first case, and he's trying his cousin, defending his cousin for murder. And what happened is he's trying to argue with the judge that these two kids didn't murder anybody. And the judge is like, "So you're going to plead not guilty?" He goes, "Well, no, Your Honor." He goes, "They're innocent." And he finally has to tell the lawyer, uh, "You know, look, there's only two ways you can respond here. You can respond guilty, or you can respond not guilty." And he finally had to hold him in contempt because he kept thinking that he could just explain to the judge that they didn't do it. And he said, he goes, you know, you want to throw out the entire legal procedure because you find yourself in the unique position of defending clients who didn't do it. And you can look at the movie Shawshank Redemption when they're asking him, new guy, like, well, what did you do? He goes, well, I'm innocent. And Morgan Freeman's character goes, "Oh, you're going to fit right in." He goes, "What do you mean?" And he asked another inmate, he goes, "Hey, what did you," he goes, "What did you do?" He's like, "Didn't do it. Lawyer fucked me." And these guys go in there, and this is their plan. And they're, depending on the strategy they take, they can basically usually tell you, people who know the system can tell you which sovereign citizen group they matriculated. And a lot of them are these Mark Stevens guys. What they do is they go in there, and when the court starts, the first thing they do is, because again, it's the language, it's the strategy. If it was a different grandfather of the sovereign citizen movement, they'd have a different shtick. But they go in there and they go, well, Your Honor, I have an unsigned confession of guilt that I'm ready to sign and plead guilty, but I just have some clarifications to ask the court. And then one of the things they'll ask me, do I have a right to a fair trial? And the judge will be like, well, yeah, of course you do. They go, do I have a right to be informed, and make an informed plea? And they're like, well, yeah, absolutely. And then usually what'll happen, the judge will either get the prosecutor to read the charges, or the judge will read the charge, and usually it's stuff like literally they got a parking ticket, or they were caught speeding, or they were driving without license. Well, then, and then the next question they'll want to ask is, am I assumed to be innocent of all the charges, or all the elements of the crime? Well, yeah, until proven guilty. And then they're like, and is jurisdiction an element of the crime? And they're like, well, yeah, there's an element. And see, the thing they don't understand is that if you challenge jurisdiction, the way the court system is working out, if you challenge jurisdiction, then what you are doing is you are forcing the judge to go to trial. And somewhere along the line, and what they did is they found a little language buried in some law book, and it basically states that jurisdiction can be challenged anytime. So somebody has figured out that they found this loophole, and that all they have to do is just sit there and constantly challenge jurisdiction, and the trial can't go forward until they prove it. What they don't understand is that jurisdiction generally does not have to be proven in the arraignment. We're talking about the actual trial, and the trial doesn't start until you've been arraigned. So the procedure would be, the minute you challenge jurisdiction, you are triggering, whether you'll make it or not, the judge will just put it in for you. You are triggering a not guilty plea. And then they flip out. They're like, oh, well, you're practicing law from the bench. And no matter how many times it doesn't work, these morons keep going in there and using it. There was literally, if you and if you're younger, you're not going to probably recognize movies or anything like that. There were all these old movies that Clint Eastwood did. He had one guy in there, like you saw the movies he did with the orangutan, Any Which Way You Can, Any Which Way But Loose. He had a guy that was in there who played the biker leader, the gang leader for the biker gang. And what happened is, I ran across a video, and it looked like it was shot on VHS because of the lines and everything else. That you had those, like if you recorded something on VHS, you'd have those lines at the bottom or top of the screen that were indications of VHS. And it got worse if you reused the tape over and over again, it would get shit like that. But what happened was, he was one of these sovereign citizens, and he did a video, and he did more than one, but he would basically go around and teach this shit to people. They would pay him to be there, and he was an actor in all these Clint Eastwood movies, like the one with the preacher man. He was the guy that when Clint Eastwood, I think, I remember the name of the High Plains Drifter. There were two movies where he played kind of an unnamed guy. Well, it's the one where it took place in the city of Largo. And he was having the townsfolk, he basically created a town militia, and he was teaching them how to shoot. And he had them shooting at this guy's wagons. They had like targets on the wagons. The wagons would drive around, and they were basically seeing if they could shoot a moving target on the back of a wagon. This guy came up and he goes, I don't remember giving permission for my wagons to be shot at by these stupid townsfolk. And he started pulling a knife out of his holster. And Clint Eastwood didn't even turn around. He just basically told the guy, he goes, you're going to look awful silly with that knife sticking out of your ass. And the guy kind of got scared, put the knife away, and just left. Didn't bother him. And this is the actor I'm talking about, in case you've seen any of these movies. Well, he was given basically a lecture to all these people about how to break the system. And he was basically explaining how, when the government, because he was basically saying the same shit. You don't need a license. You don't need a social security card. And I find that disingenuous because unless, and this is possible, unless he was getting paid cash under the table, he had to give them some kind of a social security number to collect a paycheck when he was in all those movies for Clint Eastwood. That right there really seems dishonest because, and again, maybe it's possible he was getting paid cash under the table. And at a certain point in there, he goes, well, I've gone to jail. I've gone to court 14 times. I've lost 14 times, and I've gone to jail 4 times. And I'm thinking, okay, why didn't everybody get up and walk at this point? He's literally telling them that the stuff he's telling them to do. He's gone to court on it 14 times. He's lost 14 times. And he's gone to jail 4 times. Clearly, this shit doesn't work. But not only did he keep doing it, not only is he telling other people to do it, but these fucking morons are sitting there taking notes, learning how to do this. And I'm sorry, the guy just told you he's 0 for 14. And the funny thing is, there were things that he was doing then. There were things that he said he was doing then where, that he had quit doing. Because he goes, well, yeah, that the where you go and tell them you're traveling, you're not driving. He goes, those don't work. And he was showing you the new and improved method. And here I am thinking like, oh my God, we're talking like 30, 40 years later. He figured it out 40 years ago that telling the cops you're traveling, not driving, does not get you out of a ticket for driving without a license or driving without registration on your car. He's telling them it didn't work 40 years ago, and yet there's a whole new group of stupid people that are driving around and doing the exact same thing. And it's like, yeah, we've got a problem in this country. We really have a problem in this country. And we got to find some way to fix it. Well, anyways, the rant's kind of over, but I did kind of feel bad. Like I said, I've been a fan. A lot of these ones that are fans are, they've been fans of her since she started doing Marvel movies or Disney movies, where they were a fan when she was in MMA. I was a fan of hers before she ever got into MMA. And I really, I mean, and I don't know if I didn't find her as attractive, maybe I wouldn't be that big of a. That's a fair point. I can't answer that. But I've been a fan of hers for a while, and I really feel bad for her. But I have to be a grown up, and instead of going out there and acting like, oh, well, fucking Disney's the devil, they're tyrants, blah 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 blah, all the stupid shit that was on Twitter yesterday. It's like, at a certain point, you got to understand once you become an adult, actions have consequences. And and funny thing is, she's been kind of told for a while, they had to sit down and explain to her, like, look, you are kind of the public face of this company. But I do really feel bad. Really. I don't know. I want to build the wall uniform all the way around and then make it look like the desert came in around it. I might even bury it again, but I want the wall built the same all the way around. If I was a better builder, I probably wouldn't have. But I really do feel bad for her. But I just could not believe the hatred that was going on today, where these people were just ragging and ragging and ragging. Uh, and it's like, look, if you've been paying like that one that basically said that I got to go back and drop this shit off. Like that one guy said, didn't anybody tell her to? Pixel has not been on in a while. Yeah, Pixel, I haven't seen him on in a while. But again, whether it's regular school or college or whatever, that they've got like real life shit to do, and it's like, yeah, that's got to come first. But it's nice to see him on. When you see me going down the ice bridge, he's the one who built that. I'm decorating it a little bit, but he's the one that actually built it. Yeah, I understand what he's talking. I don't know how much of that you can follow, but the voice should show up in the stream. Oh no, it won't because I've got that. I think the rate expired. I can actually turn game sounds back on. If it's still there when I get back in range, I'll shut it back off. But Pixel's basically talking about the dilemma. He wants to build something, he's just not sure what. And he said something about the build palette, the colors you're going. I can completely understand that because that's the dilemma I've
Pixel
got.
Pizza
I'm
77
placing
says it
stuff
would be
right
so
now.
nice if we had TNT dupers. Lonely Biker says, where are you?
Yeah, they said something about TNT dupers, and it's like, yeah, TNT dupers would be nice.
Pixel Pizza 77 says, at my base. Pixel Pizza 77 says, my big base, not my small one.
that's a pretty good stream. I think I gotta look at what time it. Yeah, I've been on for over an hour, almost two. That's actually good for me. At least I think. I don't know unless I got it wrong. I'm getting lightheaded. One up and down the stairs kind of hit me. I'm gonna kind of veg out, chat with these guys in game, and then as soon as I get light or clear headed again, I'm probably just gonna keep digging. I basically want to dig at this level all the way around the base, and I'm looking at a wall. I might put a flush piston door in or glass. And what I might do is I might make an outer wall and an inner wall, and then I might even dig
Pixel
this
Pizza
down.
77 says
I
specifically,
might
I'm
even
at my
dig this
gold
down
farm.
so it's even with that. I just don't know yet. And I might leave that, but just drop it down. But I might lower this around so it's not. It's lower on the outside and it goes up in the middle, kind of like Ziggurat does. I'm not entirely sure yet. That's why I said some of this I might have to sit and go build something else until I get an inspiration on it. I'm rapidly running out where the ideas I had when I was lightheaded are getting done. And because I've actually had some good days, I got to wait until I get more inspiration maybe. I have to do that a lot because I did not plan this out. This kind of came up organic. Build some more farms in it because I want to put a sugarcane and maybe a bamboo farm in here, so I might have to do that. I can finish the roof once I'm sure what I want it to look like. I can do the rest, but I am going to finish digging this out before I give up, and I'll probably dig all this out too. I'm not entirely sure what I want it because I might leave it open. I might not actually build a solid wall. I might build a wall that you can fly through. Yet then I might make a solid wall. Might remove the fencing. I might change the fencing. This might be an inner wall. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I've got thoughts, but I haven't firmly decided one. But I'm going to pretty much kill the stream. I want to thank everybody for coming in. I appreciate it. For the people that view it later, I do appreciate you. If that's all you can do, great.
Lonely Biker says, what makes concrete, LOL.
That helps.
Pixel Pizza 77
check me out on
sand,
YouTube.
Gravel, die.
It's AFKC Lag City and AFKC Raw. There's no 0071. I tried to use that for a handle here, and it was already taken, so I had to add the 0071 to it.
Not in the crafting recipe, but you do need it.
But check me out over there. I'm starting to upload stuff over there, and but I want to thank everybody, and for those of you that are watching it off stream, if you could start showing up and making the live streams, that would help me out tremendously. But everybody have a good day and take care.